So that morning, woke up early, I did a test, and a friend of ours had said, because it was right by Christmas, why don't you just wrap it in Christmas paper and bring it downstairs?
Yep.
So tested, didn't look, wrapped it in Disney wrapping paper. And then we stood, the Christmas tree was here, and we stood in front of the Christmas tree, and we sort of set up our camera, and we said, look, either way, if it's positive or negative, we want to share it, because again, we want that people to see like the vulnerability.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Sorry, that's the thing with social media, is that you only usually see the best bits. And we says from the very beginning, we want to show everything. If it's good, bad, ugly, whatever, we want to show everything.
So we came downstairs, set it up, and sort of just, didn't really know what to do. The time had come, we'll open it. And it's like the world just stopped at that moment. We found, didn't we, a message. We met in 2015, and we found a text message from 2015 discussing how we couldn't wait to be pregnant, and that we couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to surprise you and tell you, and that was back in sort of 2015. So then, as soon as we were married in 21, we went on our honeymoon. And we were so naive, weren't we?
Yeah.
I had like an app, and you could change it to like not trying to get pregnant, trying to get pregnant. So we were like reading through that. Yeah,
it was like so when you get pregnant, like, we thought it was going to be so easy, didn't we? So like you say, so naive. But yeah, we did have a plan, didn't we, from the very get-go, I think.
Yeah, that it would just happen. And I think our story up until that point, we were kind of that fairy tale annoying couple. Not for us, it was great, but that just everything was so smooth sailing. We were like, we're definitely going to be those people that just try once, get pregnant, and then sort of 8 months or so down the line, we fell pregnant naturally, but we very quickly had a miscarriage, which was really hard. And I think for me personally, the only way I could get through it was being like, well, we try again straight away. And everyone was like, oh, you'll be so fertile, you'll get pregnant straight away now, you've done it once, it'll be so easy. And I clung on to that, and it kind of didn't happen.
No.
So I started going for like reflexology, for fertility, and sort of different things. And another maybe 8-9 months has passed. We met with a fertility expert, and she gave you loads of advice, didn't she?
Yeah, it's like dietary kind of things.
Yeah.
I think like dietary advice, just loads of things I could do to help with my situation, which was really handy, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was like you weren't allowed to drink tap water,
couldn't drink tap water, couldn't go on long drives, couldn't go in jacuzzis, had to watch what I eat.
Yeah. No beer.
Yeah,
no Guinness. So that we started making all these changes, but still nothing happened. So she said I'd recommend going for fertility tests. You were able to go on the NHS, and you had your results back, which showed...
I'm trying to remember now. What was it? It was...
Low morphology?
Low morphology, I think it was, yeah. So like half of my sperm worked, half of it didn't, basically. Yeah, and it was quite low, what had come back. And then I was waiting for ages on the NHS, and it was like, how long's a piece of string? So I decided to go private for some testing, and then it came back that I had a low AMH and a low FSH, so basically a low ovarian reserve. And the clinic and the fertility expert basically said, your best shot is IVF, and you kind of need to do it now, which was like the first time I think we'd ever... You hear of IVF, but you don't hear of IVF. And I think for us, it was like, wow. Yeah, what do we do?
This is a whole new world.
Yeah. Yeah, we felt so lost, I guess, in a way, didn't we? Because we had no idea.
We didn't know anybody.
What we was going to do.
No one that had ever had fertility struggles, because again, I think no one talks about it. Once we'd started going through IVF, all these people started coming out of the woodworks, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then you realise that
how common it
you're
actually
not
is.
Alone. Yeah. But that's sort of how we then came into sort of the IVF world, so to speak.
I think that the whole perspective from my part anyway, being the male, it was tough, and I think it is tough because for me personally, I had to go for testing, and I had my own issues. And then that's kind of like you feel to blame to to put it, bluntly, you feel slightly to blame. Fortunately for us, we was both to blame. But
you made it easier.
yeah. And then I think that was tough. But I think the toughest part, I think, is like when you talk about like the miscarriage and things, and having to watch Charlie go through her scans, and how what do we say, like how vulnerable you are. It's quite tough because you're dealing with your own issues, but you're also having to watch them go through it. It is quite tough. It's you don't feel like you can really talk about it because you don't. I haven't had to go through a miscarriage. I haven't had to go through scans. I haven't had to be prodded and poked and stuff like that. So you feel I don't really want to moan or complain because I'm not the one going through it. But
even though you are,
it does have that effect on you because you have to watch them go through it, and you can only just be there as support and stuff like that. So yeah, it is tough. It is tough being the male, I guess. But I think that's why we kind of started our TikTok journey and putting stuff on social media, because we wanted to make it just such a common it's a taboo thing to talk about, isn't it? Whether you're male or female, it's a taboo thing to talk about. We wanted to try and kind of kill that narrative of it being such a hard thing to talk about, because it is such a common thing. And
I think for you, you didn't want anyone else to go through it alone.
I think that was the thing. That was the thing when we started our journey, and it was so tough. And one of the things that we said was, if there was just one couple who watched our videos, or if there was one guy, because I put a video up kind of discussing the male perspective, and I thought if there's one guy that watches that and thinks, oh, okay, I'm not alone. Oh, okay, so it is okay to feel this way. Then I feel like we've done something really good, because when you hear about infertility or you hear about miscarriages, you automatically think of the woman, rightly so as well, because it's the woman that has to go through it. But there is something there, it's more of a mental struggle, I'd say, for the guy. But yeah, I think we originally, obviously, we had the miscarriage. Yeah. And then we had to go for like scans and tests and stuff like that. And I think, you had a scan, didn't you? And I think it pretty much says that your best option is to go for IVF. And that was when we was like, whoa, what even is that? Like, what does that even mean?
I think we'd asked the question, because it was a private clinic. They didn't offer IVF, but they did all the fertility services and pregnancy services. And I sort of asked the question, so NHS, is that sort of our best route? Mm-hmm. And she said, for you guys, I don't think so. It's an 18-month wait list, sort of minimum NHS, and I just don't think you've got that time. So then it was like, oh my goodness, that's a whole new world to sort of unravel. I remember that first night, and it took us an hour to do that first injection. Yeah. And we started upstairs, we ended up in the kitchen, and like I couldn't do it to myself, so it was like, you've got to do it. But then every time you tried to come near me, I was like, nope, absolutely not. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. And it was like at that it was a make or break point. I just physically didn't think I could do it.
There was a point, wasn't there, where we thought, I don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah. And then somehow, and I still to this day don't actually know how we did it. Mm-hmm. And again, it was that pride thing and that relief. Everybody that we spoke to just raved about Care. Yeah,
into
Care, yeah.
Just everyone said it. So we did go for a few consultations at a couple of different places, because we thought, don't want to put all our eggs in one basket, so to speak. But we just had that gut feeling straight away. We were sat on the sofa here doing a consultation with one of the consultants, and we just knew, I don't know, it's that gut feeling, isn't it? We just thought, right, this is the clinic for us. Yeah. And we were really happy they took our voice into consideration. So we had a bit of knowledge this time round. Our medication, like our protocol was changed slightly, and again we really felt like we were listened to with sort of what changes were being made and why. And we did a different kind of package this time that we hadn't done before. And just from starting with Care, it just went so smoothly, and we ended up with our Care baby. It was the 21st of December. I was leaving work that week, so I was going into work for my second last day at that point. But there was like no way we were making it through a whole day without testing and not knowing. We were really good at the 2-week wait, like wouldn't falter. I don't want to test early, but when we knew that was test day, it was like, it's go time. So
it was funny actually, because the day before, because it was a Wednesday, the day before, wasn't it? And the day before, Charlie come home from work and she says, I don't think it's worked. And I think that kind of, for us, it was like a bit of a weight off our shoulders, because I think then we both thought, okay, it hasn't worked, but we'll still test anyway.
I think you protect yourself, don't you? So you think, which is not what we normally do. We're normally really positive, but if you prepare for the worst kind of thing, you're protecting your heart and you're protecting yourselves a little bit.
I think because we'd already been through it once, hadn't we? We'd already been through that kind
and I had no symptoms, whereas the first time when it failed, I had symptoms and I really thought I was, whereas this time I'd had no symptoms. So that morning, woke up early, I did a test, and a friend of ours had said, because it was right by Christmas, why don't you just wrap it in Christmas paper and bring it downstairs? So tested, didn't look, wrapped it in Disney wrapping paper. And then the Christmas tree was here, and we stood in front of the Christmas tree, and we sort of set up our camera and we said, look, either way, if it's positive or negative, we want to share it, because again, we want that people to see like the vulnerability.
I think that's the thing. Sorry, that's the thing with social media, is that you only usually see the best bits. And we says from the very beginning, we want to show everything. If it's good, bad, ugly, whatever, we want to show everything.
So we came downstairs, set it up, and sort of just didn't really know what to do. The time had come, we'll open it. And it's like the world just stopped at that moment. We sort of ripped off the paper. Yeah. You saw those 2 lines and...
Incredible.
Just, the most... Incredible, magical, surreal moment. I think we just hugged, screamed, laughed, cried, like every single emotion you could possibly feel. Went through all of them. And we're just in our own little bubble. Our dog was running around, like wondering what on earth is going on.
It was that thing as well of, like, it actually worked. Science prevailed. It was incredible.
Everything we've been through was worth it. Like it's worked. Miracles do happen. And we've always said, like, we want you to hold on to sort of hope and be positive. Because if you haven't got that, there's sort of, in our opinion, there's no point. You've just got to hold on to hope, and you've got to think it's going to work, even though you prepare yourself in different ways. Just seeing that, like, miracles do happen, and that we held on to that hope, and it was worth it. It was just incredible. Majority of the way through, so had like the morning sickness, which initially, like, I was over the moon. I was like sick and ran out. I was like, it's happening. This baby is actually growing. Like, I'm being sick. And then that wore off quite quickly, because it was like 16 weeks of still being sick, and it was like, okay, this is really hard. And I think there was nerves at every single scan. You kind of go in and hold your breath, and you obviously, you just don't know what to expect, and you just can't always preparing yourself. And I don't know if that's the same if you've never been through infertility, or if it's just because you've been through infertility and had a miscarriage, had failed transfers, and you're just so desperate and vulnerable that you really want this to work. But every scan, I think that, the relief was there, hearing the heartbeat, seeing the movement. We did have one small scare early on, I think around 9 weeks. I'd woke up in the night and had started bleeding, and that was awful, because it was 3 o'clock in the morning. We were too early to go to hospital or do anything, so we'd managed to book a private scan, but you had to obviously wait till the next day, and you're both sort of just lying there
couldn't call anyone, couldn't speak to anyone, just
that again, like, your world just kind of stops at that point, because it's just the fear of what if. But thankfully everything was okay. And again, we shared that on TikTok, because again, not many people talk about that, and as soon as we had, everyone was like, oh, I bled, I did this, and it's so normal, it's so natural. And I think even still, every time I went to the toilet, you would check just in case, because that, like, just panic was there. And I don't think you're prepared for that either, are you? That you're constantly on edge, I suppose.
There's so many challenges, isn't there? Like, just to even fall pregnant was one challenge, but then it's then staying pregnant, and that was
Yeah.
Mentally, that was really tough.
Yeah, I think
That
as soon
was
as we
really
hit
tough. Just
viability,
just get to a certain point and then you're safe. Kind of is how we was thinking in our head.
got to 24 weeks and then it was like, okay, now we can sort of relax. So we didn't buy, for us personally, we didn't buy anything up until sort of that 24-week point because we were just wanted to check that everything was going to be okay. And then it sort of hit 24 weeks and it was like, okay, we can. We didn't find out gender, but we were doing all the old wives' tales. We went and bought the push chair but kept it at somebody else's house. Started getting all the different like baby bits, and then that's when it all started to like really feel real again, I suppose.
Yeah.
You are so much stronger than you think you could ever be. You just have this incredible strength within you as individuals and as couples, and there are times when you will think like, I can't do this and it's going to break me and I'm completely consumed, but you can, and you are so much stronger than you think. So have that sort of belief in yourself and knowing you're not alone as well. Like, there are so many people out there that are going through it, and I know that doesn't necessarily help you as an individual going through it, but there's people you can talk to, and there is sort of like help and advice out there. We've always said that our sort of inbox is open and we have people message us all the time, and just having those open, healthy conversations, it definitely helps, because it can be such a lonely, isolating journey if you don't talk to anybody. So sort of having that community, whether it is just one person or a whole host of people, but just having people there to support you, because it is a roller coaster and it is hard, but I think lean on each other as well. Like, you know, there's times where I was down here, you was up here, or vice versa, and just lean on each other, kind of pick each other up. It's you're in it together. That's one thing we did say, we're in this together. And you've got to stick together through it as well, haven't you? 100%. And like Charlie says, you're not alone. You're not. That was one of the things we always says, when we when we was doing our videos on TikTok or whatever it was. We always says you're not alone, because it's such a common thing, and it does help. It does help knowing that there's other people going through it, because it doesn't make you feel like there's something wrong with your, you know. It just helps. It just helps knowing that there's other people going through it. So know that you're not alone.